What's going on, guys? It's Loobcoobs. I'm sorry you haven't heard from me for a while. We've been really focused on Twitch, where you guys, if you want up-to-date competitive Yu-Gi-Oh on a daily basis, you should definitely come check out the Twitch. Link is in below. I stream full-time every day of the week. You should definitely come say hi. But I'm coming back hard, and I'm coming back strong with a really polished and really powerful Eldlich Dragoon deck that I've been working on for a while. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. I know you guys are what you're here for, and I just want to quickly explain some of my choices here, some really powerful meta staples, as well as some cool tech cards I think you'll really enjoy. So, jumping right onto it, we have maxed out on our Eldlich engine because this is Eldlich Dragoon. You really want a huge Eldlich engine to really outgrind your opponent and just to draw into all of those sweet Eldlich cards that'll really put you ahead in each game that you play. We're gonna max out with 3 Lord because Lord is really nice to draw. We play a huge spell and trap count in this, so we're always gonna have extra cards to pitch for removal, set, bring it back. Also helps your grind game quite a bit with all the banishing from the graveyard, as Eldlich is a meta threat. People are prepared for it, so having access to that 3rd Lord is really nice. Triple Curse Land, heart of the deck. This is how you're searching half of your deck, and it also pluses when sent to grave. What's not to love about the Golden Land? So obviously we're going to play 3. Getting into our Eldlichers, we have 1 white and 3 scarlet. 3 scarlet is a staple of every Eldlich deck. You never play less. It's your main Lord access. And since this is a pure variant, we're also going to be playing white. No Black Destiny. It is another special summon from the deck, but it is only spell speed 1, which means no Lord access on your opponent's turn, which is often when you need Lord the most. So we're just going to play 1 white Destiny to again improve that grind and improve our Lord access, as it's very integral to this build. Maxed out on all of our Golden Lane cards. Triple Wakero, triple Conquistador. Conks your pop, walks your banish. Very powerful right now. What's not to love? We're going to max out to improve our grind and just make sure we're seeing those interruptions in hand. Moving on to Dragoon, we're going to play triple Insight, 1 Wyvern, and triple Red Eyes Fusion. Dragoon, so important to this deck, and you need to maximize your chances of seeing Dragoon turn 1 and establishing that board presence before you move any further. Granted, and I know the number one thing people say to me when they see this ratio, even though it's pretty standard, I shouldn't have to explain it. You're only going to resolve 1 Red Eyes Fusion and 1 Insight. You have all these extra copies in your deck and they're just dead. The good thing about this deck is there are no dead cards in your deck. These are spells, which means you can discard for them, discard for Lord Send. You can set them, send them for Lord, bring them back. There's no card in this deck that is actually a hard break outside of your Dragoon targets. So you're really only playing 2, and that's not that bad in a 50 card list. Your chances of seeing them are very, very low. So yes, again, very important to maximize on your Dragoon and your Eldlich engine just to make sure you're getting the most out of your turn 1 board presence. Now moving into our generic support, we're of course playing triple Extrav. This is Eldlich, this is Dragoon, this is getting you into your engine, this is getting you to Dragoon turn 1. You don't really care about your extra deck, so this is a perfect fit for this list. There's only 2 cards in your extra deck that really are the most important, and you just play 3 of all the things that matter. We're also playing triple Forbidden Droplet. If you're not maining this in 2021, you're really missing the memo. This is one of the most important generic staples of the meta. It allows you to get over problem boss monsters. Most importantly, monsters plural. Like, it can take out an entire board, or just that 1 Dragoon, that 1 Boral Savage, that 1 Vanity's Ruler that's really causing you issues. You also have lots of spells, traps, and monsters to be scrying for this to make sure your opponent is not responding with what they have. Droplet's incredibly important to main deck in this. The last thing you want is to be stuck behind a Vanity's Ruler or a Dragoon that you're not prepared to out. Droplet will help with that a ton. We're also main decking Imperial Order. This card rather, is so powerful right now. It shuts down Drytron, it hurts Virtual World, it keeps your opponent from summoning their own Dragoon. Imperial Order hits every important meta deck, and like going first or second. This is a grind deck, so slowing down your opponent with Imperial Order will always be good. So why not main it? It just makes sense. Also, you're playing 50 cards, so you might as well just main that and see it as often as you can because the card is amazing. Next is a personal tech card of mine. A friend introduced me to this card, and I absolutely fell in love in this deck. It is amazing, and that is Debunk. When a monster effect is activated in the hand or graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, banish it. In this meta, where there's very little effects actually being activated on the field, it is almost all in hand and graveyard. Debunk really feels like a second copy of Solemn Strike because it is a counter trap. Your opponent's not responding to it with anything except for winning your judgment. It really can clinch a game, not to mention it can banish your opponent's Lord, it can banish your opponent's Ben 10, that important Drytron card they need to resolve. Debunk not only negates that key card into activation, it also removes the threat from their graveyard or hand. This is hand trap protection against your Red Eyes Fusion when you top deck it. This removes the Lord, this removes the Drytron. Debunk is incredible in a grindy deck like this, specifically in this meta. I am in love with Debunk. We are also main decking Ice Dragon's Prison. Now, Ice Dragon's Prison is, don't get me wrong, a really powerful card that I love, but it is not amazing in the Drytron matchup. It's not amazing in the Virtual World matchup. It's mainly just there for Dragoon and Rogue. The main thing is that you don't have a ton of outs to your opponent's Dragoon, so a lot of this deck revolves around keeping your opponent from summoning it in the first place. But that being said, if your opponent does summon that Dragoon, you do have droplets, you do have Ice Dragon's Prison to remove it and take care of your opponent. Alright? We're also maining both Judgment and Strike. Like I said, Strike and Debunk serve very, very similar purposes, and that important monster effect negation in the form of a counter trap. Very important in today's metagame is there's just so many monster effects being resolved that you would prefer not to. So Solemns are really powerful. Solemn Judgment is really great for taking care of your opponent's blowout cards they're trying to use to take care of your Dragoon. And also in the mirror match, you can really clinch a game with a well-placed Judgment. This is something you could move to the side if you prefer, but I've been maining Judgment. You just have to be really careful where you place your judgments, and if you do, I think it'll reward you greatly. Now for the hand trap lineup, we're not playing a ton of hand traps in this list because mainly you'd rather be playing that power back row because this is a slower deck. So those traps, yeah, they take a little bit of setup, but they're going to be a lot more bang for your buck for that one card. But that being said, we are playing a few. We are playing Droll and Lockbird for the Drytron matchup, as Drytron is probably the biggest threat to this deck, so you really want to be prepared for it. Going second, dropping that Droll and just blinking a turn, or even going first and blinking that turn to really put you ahead on life points and card advantage is just worth it. Not to mention, Droll is not without its other uses. It can definitely help in the Virtual World matchup, slowing down your opponent, and even in Rogue, just limiting, even if they only search a couple times, limiting that to one can really help a lot. Decks like Drytron, Prank Kid Adamancipator, which is recently making a resurgence, and you can definitely find a link to my Prank Kid Adamancipator list in the description below. That link won't be there on release, as I'm releasing that later this week, but if you're checking this out a little bit later, make sure to double check for that down below if that's something that interests you. Yeah, Droll is just really impactful this meta, and I think has a spot in the main deck. Then, to round off the main deck, we are playing Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Namely, this is for your opponent's Red Eyes Fusion in the mirror match, or any deck that's trying to summon a Dragoon straight away. That's the name of the game and what you're trying to prevent with Ash. But that being said, Ash is just really good generic negation. It's live against pretty much every other deck, so it really has a spot in most main decks right now. We're going to go ahead and get into the extra deck before moving on to the side. Extra deck should be a breeze. We are playing triple, obviously, our boss monster, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, 3. We're playing 3 of pretty much everything in the main deck, as we don't want to banish everything off of Extrab. Playing triple Dragoon and triple Verte, just to maximize your chances of seeing Dragoon as soon as possible, and make sure you're not hurting your grind game by removing them. We are also playing 2 Gustav Max and 1 lead. I had to max out on all the most important cards for the deck, and that just left 3 spots. I like the trains. You play 2 of the Gustav because it's step 1. You need to make sure that you're seeing, like, at the very least, you gotta summon Gustav before you play Lieb. So, you should have access to both, but just in case. You also don't go into these super often, so it's not the most important card in your extra deck, but can really clinch some games and get over that opponent's Dragoon if you're able to get double Lord out. So definitely a good option in a deck that's relatively pure Eldlich. We're also playing Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. So many decks just can't out this card. It really speaks for itself. So another card we're going to play at 3. This card is insane. Like I said, a lot of rogue matchups just can't out Blackluster Soldier, so it can just end games at its own. It's almost another copy of Dragoon in that sense. We're also playing triple Link Spider just to make sure you can turn your Golden Land traps into an effect monster to summon Verte, another card you want at 3 to make sure you're getting to Dragoon as soon as possible. And that rounds off the extra deck, guys. Let's go ahead and clean up the side deck here, explain our choices, so you guys can go ahead and give this a try, huh? We're playing triple Cycle Reader. Again, Cycle Reader is for the Drytron matchup, probably your hardest matchup. Very important to remove a Ben 10 or important, impactful Drytrons from the graveyard. If you're not familiar with Cycle Reader, you can discard this card, target up to 2 light monsters in your opponent's graveyard, and banish those. This also comes up in the mirror match, removing your opponent's Golden Lords. So, Cycle Reader, definitely a nice card to have in the extra deck for both of those matchups. Next is another tech card, Amano Iwado. Now, this is definitely a flex spot in the side, just a card that I will showcase in my profile with Exorus in his Eldlich profile, and I just wanted to spread the word a little bit more. This card is so good in rogue matchups that like to play on your turn. This is great if you're on low DB or at locals where you're playing against some unpredictable, more outlying decks. There's so many decks like Unchained that like to play on your turn. So being able to normal summon a mono, activate the traps that you need, set the traps that you need without being interrupted is just really, really nice. This is definitely, again, a flex spot inside for your favorite side deck staples. So the side deck is obviously very, very flexible. Going into our one-ofs, we're covering Pankratops, Feather Duster, and Regeki. These are all basically here to force, just to force that negation. It's something they have to respond to or they're gonna get blown out. So being able to bait in interruption and destroy your opponent with any of these 3 cards or forcing out that interruption before you get into your plays is really powerful. Then we're also playing triple Cosmic. This is really good going first against Virtual Ward or in the mirror match, banishing those Golden Land traps from the field. Just really good removal right now. This is my preferred choice as it just gets the issue out of the game for the most part. We're also siding triple Torrential. This is mainly for when your Ice Dragon's Prison isn't super live. Torrential, well-placed Torrential can still be much more live. So, anywhere that or it could be a debunk when your opponent's playing something that doesn't revolve the hand or graveyard. You just have another powerful back row to supplement where you're lacking your other back row lacks. And that just about wraps it up, guys. This has been Eldlich Dragoon by me. This is something I've been working on for a while and I'm having a lot of success with. I actually came 4th in the GG for free last week with this, mainly because I made an own mistake in the finals and got booted down. But overall, I'm still pretty proud of my success in the event. And you guys should definitely give this deck a try. It's really, I don't think you'll regret it if you're an Eldlich player and you enjoy playing the deck. So, with that, guys, this is Loobcoobs signing off. Thank you.